Vanessa Lampkin is a young lady who got pregnant at the age of 14, who had her daughter at the age of 15. She was abused emotionally, physically, spiritually. She was rejected, abandoned, and told that she would never account or be anybody. She was the one that everybody dumped all of their trash on to make her feel like she was nothing more than trash. It wasn't until she met Dolores Sims, a school counselor, who took the time out to get to know her, to inspire her, to speak life into her. It was Dolores Sims that loved and encouraged her through all things. Dolores Sims allowed her to know that she was more than trash, but she was treasure, and it lived inside of her. Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Lampkin, and I am the founder and executive director of the Lampkin Experience and Hannah's Dream, and also the proud parent of Risa, Devontae, and Eddie Lampkin. And also, I am the Dream Doctor. You know, sometimes people will take their negative thoughts, their negative feelings, their negative words, and try to put them on you. But if I would have allowed people's negative thoughts of me, their negative words of what they felt about themselves to come and embed inside of me, I would have never reached for more. I wouldn't have been able to graduate from high school, go on to get my associate's degree and bachelor's degree, and also hold a master's degree in organizational development and leadership. I am a development coach that helps people find their way when they feel that they have lost. I help them heal so that they can look for the passion, the purpose that they're supposed to be going on to make a difference in this world. I found my purpose as just being a parent to my own children. My children would bring their friends, their mothers over and their fathers over, and we would get the opportunity to talk about different things. So in between all of that, I found my purpose, and my purpose is to help heal young women, young men of all ages. My purpose is to help you find your God-given talent. That way that you can be able to do the things that God has created you to be. As people would come over to my house, I started teaching them about the power of I am. I am amazing. I am successful. I am purposeful. I am an inspiration to somebody else. I started teaching them the power of being grateful. A lot of us don't understand that the negative things that we speak about, the negative things that we think about, become the things that are invading our lives. So as I started going on journeys with myself and my children, I started taking other people on the journeys with me. I started telling them, okay, what can we do to make today great? Even though the day might not seem great, but we're going to talk as if it is great. So we open up our day. We say we're thankful for waking up this morning. We're thankful for being able to have the hands to be able to brush our teeth and wash our face and bathe ourselves, because so many are not able to do that. We started being thankful for the food that we have on our table, because there's so many people that don't have food. We became thankful for being able to have lights and a home to live in. And as time went on, we started realizing that we had more than we ever thought. And so using the power of I am and being grateful has caused so many young people and women and men that come into my life to be able to go after the things that they've always dreamed about. And now they're walking into their purpose. So what am I doing? I am the Dream Doctor. I am providing you, two people, 15-minute one-on-one development coaching sessions with me so that we can see and help you develop your God-given talent or unlock some of the things that you might be dealing with. I am the Dream Doctor, and I'm here to help you unlock your God-given talent.
goodness, when I tell you that I am so excited to be a part of such a phenomenal movement. There have been days I have been emotionally stirred to tears, but I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to share with each one of you my story today. My name is Amos Robinson, and I'm a communication strategist. I am also the founder and CEO of Unbended Ear Communication Consulting Agency. I'm the author of Talk is Cheap Until It Costs You Everything. And I'm also a speaker and a facilitator on the topic of transformative communication. More than just being a speaker on the topic, I am a connector of people. And for that, I give all glory and honor to my Heavenly Father. Today, they've given me just a brief amount of time to share with you. And so what I like to do is focus on three key things. One, I want to share with you what led me down this communication path. And two, I want to talk about dispelling some myths surrounding communication. And finally, I want to talk about iconic design and effect. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is what led me down this communication path. Well, it was in 2013 that I would graduate with honors and receive my bachelor's degree. It was in 2016 that I would also graduate again with honors, receive a master's degree in strategic communication. Now, both of those things are something that I'm extremely proud of, but I want to share with you that that's not where my story began. My story began here with this dreaded, gut-pinching, butt-aching, debilitating desk. When I tell you that it and I, we went round for round, day after day. This desk would rob me of my confidence. It broke my spirit. In many ways, it actually hindered me from learning. It also silenced me. For years, I would go without completing my education. It was actually some 15 years later that I would go back and try to reclaim the education that was due me and receive high marks in getting a GED. Well, it would be another 15 years before I stood an opportunity to get a promotion. And in getting that promotion meant that I needed a degree. So I had a colleague who challenged me. Now that's too weak. This colleague dared me to go back to school. Well, I want you to know that I hated school. I hated everything about it, everything that it represented, because to me, I was the butt of many jokes. The jeers, the stares, the laughter, none of that said to me that school is something I wanted to be a constant part of. So after she dared me to go back to school, it took me a while to respond. And when I did, I applied. I took a stab at it, thought it would be something that perhaps I could finally be a part of, that would be a good experience for me. So 30 days after her dare, I'd applied for a local school. And believe it or not, I got accepted. Now I want you to know, I never, ever, ever thought that I could be accepted. And when I did, it was life-changing for me. So within about 60 days of getting accepted, I began to pray, please don't let this desk be a part of this experience. And I prayed fervently, and I want you to know that this was well before I had ever read the book on law of attraction. So I stayed focused on my nemesis, day after day after day. Well, it's finally time for class to begin, and I arrived that same particular day, about an hour and a half early. I go inside and I walk down one hall and then another, and finally it appears, room 216. And I look inside. Lord, have mercy. There it is, that same exact desk, 31 years later. I want you to know I was defeated for the moment. I bowed my head, totally not knowing what it is that I'm going to do next. And tears began to well up in my eyes. I needed to get myself together. I needed to regroup, find that place that was going to help me get through this. I walked out of that classroom and found a restroom, and I walked inside, and there stood 3 tiny stalls. Stalls that only appear to be large enough for perhaps one of my grandchildren to step inside. So now I can't even sit down and cry. I walk to the mirror where I lean against the sink, look at myself, and I ask 2 very important questions. Now what and how bad do you want this? Well, I want you to know that no words came, not a single one that would help me to make a decision. But my feet began to move. And I walked out of that bathroom and back up that same deserted hall, and then down another and another. All the classrooms seemed to be set up pretty much the same. And just as I was at the end of my rope, there is a class with tables and chairs. Well, I want you to know that I walked inside and I claimed my prize. And I grabbed me a chair and I drug that chair down that same deserted hall. I placed that chair on the side of the desk and I took my seat. Now, I don't know about you and what your thoughts are right now, but in that moment, in that space, in that time, I won. You see, I had refused to fight the same fight I'd fought some 30 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong, I was still isolated and ashamed, but I won. I didn't let it beat me this time. So I took my seat and waited for all the other students to file inside. And I want you to know that there's no war that's ever fought without some casualties or getting a little dirty or even dragging a chair or 2. My encouragement for each of you is, if there is a desk that you need to defeat, please do. Because it is then and only then that God can move you from that which scares you and makes you so fearful and confines you to get you to the good stuff. So now, that's part of what led me down this communication path. 4 years later, I would gain a degree and I would re-enroll for the master's program and gain yet a 2nd degree. And I want you to know that in that program of that 2nd degree is where all of this good stuff was found. So now I want to talk to you about point 2, dispelling some myths surrounding communication. I hope you're having a blast and you're taking lots of notes. Write this down. Defeat your desk too. So now let's talk about dispelling some myths surrounding communication. All right, so now we're going to have just a brief discussion about what I discovered about communication. So come on in and take a seat at the table. So again, I had to face my desk and defeat it for God to get me to the good stuff. So for years, I had assigned the meaning of communication to only a couple things. And I don't know, perhaps you've done the same thing. You saw communication as talking or body language, you know, that verb, that conventional wisdom definition that we so often hear about conveying a verbal message. But as a strategic communication student, I began to unfold this definition. I could see that communication was so much more than I'd ever been told, or even that I'd even ever realized. So I hadn't fully connected all the dots. And look, you guys remember, let me give you an example. You guys remember what it was like when you did these pictures back when you were a kid, the connected dot pictures, and you would connect 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you finished, a picture would be revealed. Well, what I realized as an adult is that even when I connected the dots as a kid, the picture was still distorted. And I had a distorted picture of what communication was. And I needed to change that. I needed to fill the picture in appropriately, because communication is this internal thing, and it's formulated by my beliefs and values, and it determined what I would say and not say, or what I would do and not do. It had become my external way of voicing my views. And oh my God, what had I been communicating that I didn't even know I was communicating? So the truth is, in order for us to communicate effectively, the machine must be operating effectively. I believe that it was Ayanna Van Zandt that I heard say, what you think creates energy. And once energy is created, it can never be destroyed. And for years, I had looked at school as a vehicle of shame and anguish. Man, that's why I couldn't go back. And I was communicating from a victimized mind. You see, I chose words and sentences and phrases that sounded weak. I was anything but fearless. And I'd been living and communicating a message of constant fear. I didn't want to try new experiences because I was fearful of how it would make me feel and how I would look and who might make fun of me. So the reality is I was living and communicating a very closed-in life. But understanding and learning that the words I chose to communicate with were simply about the experiences I had lived. And this opened me up and allowed me to deal with me. And when you look at it, that legacy of what communication is, I thought about what had been passed down to me, and now what I was passing down to my own children. Because the truth is, sometimes we make them afraid simply because we're afraid. And we stifle their growth because ours has been stifled. And we pass down words and phrases and traditional things because we can't necessarily pull our thoughts together without them being frustrating to us. And it's just tough. So listen, communication is not articulation. This is a myth I want to dispel. Articulation is necessary for good communication, don't get me wrong, but it's not what communication is. Articulation is about grammatical awareness and knowledge of how to properly formulate the English language, but communication, it's about beliefs and values. And that gets conveyed in everything you do and in every relationship you encounter. So when you dig deep enough, you can find that place, that part that was hurt enough to formulate the thought that created the sentence said the way we said it. Your mind matters. And what you communicate is simply a matter of the mind. All right, so finally, iconic design and effect. Man, I know many of you have purchased an umbrella, had an umbrella, used an umbrella. I certainly have. There was actually this one particular instance where my husband and I, we were out and enjoying the day, and he purchased this umbrella for me, no questions asked. It just spoke to me. But I want to talk about the design and effect of the umbrella. It was originally something that was created to shield us from the sun and not from the rain. It evolved into shielding us from the rain. It was also something that 4,000 years back, The artifacts of it could be found in Egypt and Assyria, China, and even Greece. So it's got history. It's this iconic thing that we use, and we never think about the fact that the design of it has not changed very much at all. You know, they've changed a few things, perhaps the material, the size of it, the handle of it, the color of it, you know, those types of basic things, but not its basic design. It wasn't until the 16th century that the umbrella even became popular in Northern Europe, and it was just because of the rainy weather. But it was Jonas Hannaway who popularized its use among English gentlemen by carrying it publicly for more than 30 years. James Smith and Sons, they saw an opportunity and they seized it. He opened the first umbrella shop in 1830 here in London, England, still located on 53rd New Oxford Street. So again, it's an icon. The umbrella has experienced so many changes in its features, but again, its basic design is the same. So what I want to talk about is the inventor who decided that he would challenge its very basic design and he would invert it. Yes, there is an umbrella that opens from the inside out. You know, we will actually pop an umbrella open, go outside, do everything we can to be shielded from the rain, only to get inside of the car and drag all that water right back over us that we've been trying so hard to avoid. And this inventor decided he'd change the basic design, create an internal funnel, capture the water so you don't have to get wet. Oh my goodness, what genius. Absolutely genius. Well, today, I stand before you with a more effective approach to communication. It's a gift, and I want to share it with you. I have come a long way since the days of desk defeat, and although I have a long way to go, I have something impactful that I can share with you that's transformative from the inside out. Look, innovation is not confined or isolated just to mechanical things. There are many of us saying things ineffectively and unproductively. There are many relationships suffering from poor communication. There are many business models that are failing to reach their fullest potential because they have failed to develop a message strategy. There are students who are misunderstood in the classroom and among their peers. Remember, I suffered a very similar fate. There wasn't one teacher that ever asked me if I was comfortable, and I never said a mumbling word. Instead, my approach, what I chose to do was shut down instead of speak up. And how many of us are shutting down in our relationships instead of speaking up because we simply don't know the best approach to produce the best outcome? Well, that's where I come in, and that's what I'm good at. So what I want to say is, don't allow yourself to be silenced. Defeat your desk, get to the good stuff. Get to the good stuff. And approach communication with a different understanding that at its core, it's about what you have going on internally, because that's where your communication is coming from. And from an iconic perspective, the umbrella is still an icon today. And truly, we can do things differently than we've done them before. There's a quote by William Shakespeare that I want to share with you. He said, "Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant, however, never taste of death but once." Of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. So although I am still fat, I am becoming more and more fearless with every stand that I take. I am a gifted communicator by divine experience and design. and this is my communication story to you. My name is Avis Robinson. I'm a communication strategist, a gifted and fearless communicator, and I wish each of you peace, love, and elevated communication.
Dr. Jerisa ER, so excited to be a part of this and bring to you the topic of delayed motherhood while building an empire. How to keep track of your biological clock. I am Dr. Jerisa ER, your board certified emergency medicine physician, America's ER doc on a regular basis. I help nervous, confused, stressed patients in emergent conditions get back to baseline again. But also because of my own journey and struggle to become a mom, I help waiting women, single women, career-minded women gain a sense of where they are on their biological clock, as well as an optimum time to start a family. That is the question for women entrepreneurs, women CEOs. What time is it on your biological clock as it relates to fertility? Ladies, women entrepreneurs, imagine being in your 20s and 30s, building your career, building your business, while your biological clock is ticking. Have you ever asked yourself, have you ever said to yourself, oh gosh, my eggs are drying up, child? Imagine waiting for your true love, finally finding your true love, only to become one in now over 7 million women in the United States alone that have needed assisted fertilization in order to conceive and become a mom. Imagine knowing that there was a way for you to know if your egg reserve is low, to know if your ovarian reserve is low, to know if your biological clock was ticking. Imagine what would you do with that information if you knew. That's where I come in. I created SecureYourFertility.com, Secure Your Fertility, the app, which you can download the app. It is the only app of its kind that allows women, career-minded women, single women, to directly order your AMH blood test. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but that is SecureYourFertility.com. Your all resource website as well as app, secure your fertility. You can follow me, Dr. Jerisa ER, on all the social media. That's DrJerisaER, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I talk about fertility. I also talk about health and wellness and emergent conditions in general. But back to our topic for today. I'm going to talk to you about why you should know this, why this is important for you to know. I'm going to give you some examples of other real life cases of women that were happy that they knew. And I'm going to talk to you more about this test and how you can get it. So, women CEOs, it is no longer, it's not going to be acceptable any longer for you to not know your egg reserve, because we're making it possible for you to know. So who am I? And why did I do this? Well, for over 2.5 years, my husband and I struggled with our own fertility issues. We went to several physicians. I even had fibroid surgery. We are very, very happy for assisted fertilization. We went through a couple rounds of IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. And then we also went through a couple rounds of IVF, in vitro fertilization. And very happy that we're still in the process, but we do have some embryos, MBs, to make it short, frozen, that we're moving forward through surrogacy. But because we went through this process, because we went through this struggle, us being physicians and having our own clinic and having the connections with labs and also physicians across the country that are making secure fertility possible, we wanted to do something where women that were building their career, women like me who were single, waiting for that perfect love, and who were also building an empire, could know where their egg reserve was, could know if they should be concerned. There's no reason now for you to take your fertility for granted while you are building your empire. So that's my story in a nutshell. Here's some other reasons why you should know, why this is important. Earlier this year, earlier in 2017, I consulted with a 29-year-old who found out that her AMH, her anti-Müllerian hormone, was low. It was much lower than mine. Mine was at 38. So this is real. And I don't want women in their 20s and younger 30s to take it for granted, to take your fertility for granted, to take your egg reserve for granted. So for her, it was devastating to find that out, but it gave her a new mindset, and she was able to take actions because she knew that her AMH blood test, hormone test, was low. I also met another young lady because I'm a part of groups that blog and, different fertility bloggers and partners in blogging. And while she was 21 and 22, she's in her 30s now, but when she was 21, 22, she found out that her egg reserve was low. Her AMH was low. I also have a personal relationship with a doctor who, because she knew her egg reserve, her AMH was low in her 20s in medical school, she decided that her and her husband needed to go ahead and start a family at that time. Knowledge is power, and it can allow you to take actions. It can allow you to take steps to preserve or secure your fertility, if you know. And most recently, last week, there was a writer in XO Nicole, XONECOLE, the blog for cultured women. She talked about how when she was 17 years old, she found out that her egg reserve was low, but it allowed her to prepare her life and to plan, take steps accordingly. Knowledge is powerful, ladies. So as you're building your empire, as you're building your business, your career, as you're waiting for true love, SecureYourFertility.com, the app, Secure Your Fertility, has made it directly accessible for you ladies to know if your egg reserve is low. Powerful. So happy to be able to do this for women. So let's talk a little bit more about the AMH test, why it's important. So AMH stands for anti-Müllerian hormone. It is the hormone that is produced by the granulosal cells of your eggs. If your AMH is low, it indicates that your egg reserve is also low and that it would be difficult for you to conceive. Kind of tough to hear, but it can be a wake-up call if you know that your AMH or your egg reserve is low. Here's some reasons why you want to know this, because you don't have to wonder anymore. Your early 30s, you're still looking for love. You don't have to wonder anymore. Your late 20s, if you're starting out your own business, you're planning, you know how stressful that could be, starting your own business. You're planning things out. You don't have to wonder anymore about your egg reserve. Another reason why this is so important for you to know, because if you know that your egg reserve is low, or if you know even that your egg reserve is normal, knowing that can cause you to take steps like freeze your eggs or egg cryopreservation. A lot of women talk about, well, should I freeze my eggs? Maybe I should have freeze my eggs. Maybe I should consider freezing my eggs. But there's some women that have great AMH numbers that even in their late 30s, they may not have to consider freezing their eggs because they have a good egg reserve. There's some women, as women that I've mentioned earlier, that have a low AMH. They really should consider, especially if they're single or if they're building a career and they're delaying motherhood, what they should do if they would be a candidate to freeze your eggs in the meantime. Freezing your eggs is like insurance, ladies. So it's important for you to know if that's something that you would that's something that would benefit you. Or if your numbers are fine, you may not have to consider that right now. Right now, we have made it directly accessible, affordable, secretive for you to know what your egg reserve is. Why? Why also is this important? Because, ladies, as you age, so does your ovarian or egg reserve decline. Every woman is unique. Every woman is different. And we're all born with a unique number, a finite number of eggs. Don't be confused. Don't follow a false conception or misconception or perception that, oh, she got pregnant in her late 40s. She's fine. If she's fine, I'm fine. Don't fall into that belief, because it is real that there are some women in their late 20s, early 30s that may have difficulties conceiving. So that's where SecureYourFertility.com, Secure Your Fertility, the app, which you can download today. It gives you direct access to know what your AMH blood test is. Here's why also you should know this, because going to a doctor's office, this is a specialty test. It's a specialty test. It's usually ordered by fertility specialists for women that are already having issues, already have had issues conceiving. Now they are at the point of seeing a specialist. What we've done is we've made that test available for the general population, for women at large to know if their egg reserve is low. You don't have to worry about your doctor may not order it, because for every test, there has to be a reason. They have to document a diagnosis and a reason for ordering this test. It's not a wellness test. It's not an annual wellness visit doctor's test. And your insurance may not cover it. If your insurance doesn't cover it, that test could end up being several $100s cash. So what we've done is, because of our experience and going through this, because of what we've learned and the research we've gathered, and also the partnerships that we've created with doctors across the country, thankful for them, we've made it directly accessible for you to order the test, go get the blood test done at your nearest lab, and then log back in to get the results. Also, you can consult with a physician to discuss those results. Very easy and accessible for now you ladies who are building your career to know where you stand on your biological clock. As you delay motherhood, there now is a way for you to know really what your egg reserve is. If it is low, you can now know that. So excited that we've done that. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what you can do now. So securefertility.com was started earlier this year. Myself, my husband, and doctors across the country have made it available for you to just order this test directly. All you have to do is go to either our website, securefertility.com, or you can download the app now on Google and Android and Apple Play Store. Once you do that, you can just go right in, order your AMH test, ladies. There's no reason for you to stay in the dark anymore as it relates to your fertility. Don't have any regrets. Don't take anything for granted. By doing that, once you get the blood test done, results usually are available within 3 to 4 days following that. So far, the feedback has been amazing. So happy that women are being proactive and not reactive as it relates to their fertility, and they're finding out this information because it's real. It's a real issue. It's been an issue now for over 7 million women just in the United States alone, not even including internationally. So I'm very excited that doctors have joined us, specialists have joined us, and the media response has been great. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this information. Share this information. Ladies, men, if you're watching, let your girlfriend, your sister, your niece know to not take her fertility for granted. That yes, the biological clock does tick, and now there is a way for you to know where you stand. Don't just have the information and don't do anything with it, okay? It's real. It's been real for millions of women, and now there is something that you can do about it to also know where you stand, ladies. As you build your empire, as you delay motherhood for various reasons, know where you stand. Download our app, go to our website, and order your AMH test. Today, know where you stand. I am Dr. Jerisa ER. You can follow me on all the social media. You can join our private Facebook group, Secure Fertility, with Dr. Jerisa ER. My handle is spelled DRJERISAER. I talk a lot about emergency medicine conditions. I also talk about health and wellness conditions, but because of my own journey to become a mom, fertility is also a passion and a purpose of mine. So excited to have been able to talk to you and share this video with you. If you're watching this video later, make sure you share this information with your loved one so that they too can know that there's a way now for you to gain a sense of where you are on the biological clock as you build your empire As you're single, as you build your career, know if your AMH is low. And that is with secureyourfertility.com. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of the conference. And until next time, be well.
The BlackCEO London event today. So, to give you guys a little bit of information about myself, I am a life and business coach, all right? I am your Manifest Your Success coach. You guys can specifically find me at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Yasmari Speaks, or my YouTube page, which is Yasmari Rodriguez, or more specifically, my own very website, yasmarirodriguez.com. I'm looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you guys. So let's dig in really quickly. To tell you guys a little bit more about myself and my own personal story, I'm much like every single one of you guys. I am a single parent of 4 wonderful, beautiful children, and not too terribly long ago, I was downtrodden. I was depressed. I had experienced so much adversity in my life, I couldn't even think straight, right? And I didn't really know what was going to happen from day to day, and I was just really just going through the motions. And something happened that was really profound. You guys are probably laughing at me, that's all right. I went to the hairdresser. And when I went to the hairdresser, I sat down with her and we just had a life conversation. And there was 2 things that came out of that meeting that was very important. The first thing was she turned me on to what's called the Passion Planner. And the Passion Planner was something that was able to get me really intentional day to day about what I wanted to see happen in my life. And I was able to detail out and brainstorm with myself what goals I wanted to actually see happen, and then actually give me the steps in order for me to get there. So I would definitely encourage each and every one of you guys to get a Passion Planner. I've had them now for the past 3 years, I believe, 3 or 4 years now, and it's been such a huge benefit to my life, I can't even tell you. The second thing that came out of that meeting was, some of you guys might have heard of the movie called The Secret. And in The Secret, it chronicles several different people's stories that have been able to be wildly successful over time. People like Jack Canfield, which is the person who actually is one of the creators of Chicken Soup for the Soul, or people like Lisa Nichols, who is actually the creator of Motivating the Masses. And I was like, wow, like those people were able to see manifestation of success in their lives by, even though they had dealt with so much adversity in their lives, and it didn't matter what had happened to them, they were able to keep trudging forward. And a couple things came out of that. The first thing was this: thoughts become things. And what that meant to me, and what it still means to me, and probably to some of you guys, is look back on the time in you guys' lives and everything that has happened up until this point. Something that you guys have thought over time and time again. It's happened very intentionally because of your thoughts. And so I started looking at times when, you know, I was depressed or things were happening and everything was going awry, and it was because of my thoughts. My thoughts were dictating what was happening in my future. And so I was like, you know what? I have to get out of my stinking thinking. I have to find a way to get myself to a positive mindset on a consistent basis so I could manifest my own success. The second thing that came out of that movie after I watched it literally on that first night over 3 times, which was absolutely ridiculous, but it resonated with me so much that I was like, I have to keep watching this, was this: vision boards. So in the movie, there was one of the people that were speaking that was talking about them doing a vision board. And so that weekend that I first watched the movie, I literally sat down and thought to myself, I'm going to create a vision board. And to make it fun, I actually started that with my kids as well. And I was like, oh, we'll make it a fun little project for a couple of hours. What I didn't realize at the time was it literally turned into a weekend project. Everything from cutouts to printouts and everything else that we started doing. And I was like, you know what? I want to see areas of my life success happen in career, health, education, family, relationships, every other way, right? And so I started making printouts and statements and stuff on that board that were directly affected towards those things, right? So the next thing I also did, and this was kind of like an added bonus, was I created a mission statement, a vision statement more specifically. And mine was pretty lengthy. Mine was probably, I want to say about a page long. And the funny thing about that vision statement is I created it as if it already were. So I started putting things on there like, I am healthy, I am, successful, I am a speaker, I am an entrepreneur, I do have my degree, all of these things that I wanted to see happen in my life. And so what I set out to do is I was very intentional, and every single morning I would wake up and I would go to my quiet room, and what I would do is I would recite that back to myself. Not even thinking about what I was doing. But what happened with that is I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually stating affirmations to myself. So what I would suggest to each and every one of you guys who want to see manifestation of success in you guys' lives, create a vision statement. Even if you don't decide to do a vision board, although I do highly suggest it as well. Create a vision statement and put down on there what it is that you guys are wanting to see, and start reciting that to yourself, and get yourself in the mind frame of thinking about what it is that success looks like for you all. So let's dig in. Let's talk about what it takes to manifest your success, okay? And so for those of you guys who are all note takers, I definitely had to hook you guys up, right? So let's dig into this. How do we manifest our success? The word and the acronym we're going to work on today, it's called focus. And with focus, you guys have to focus on what it is that you guys want. And that's what I'm talking about with that vision statement or that mission statement that you guys have. And the F stands for, we're going to dig into this heavy, figure out your why. Figure out your why. So for me, I'll be very transparent with you guys. My why was my children. Those 4 beautiful kids that wake up every single morning at my home and go to school and go off to their separate locations. That was my why. I want you guys to sit down in your quiet places, and Maya Angelou actually calls it the quietude, so to speak, and think about what your why is. What fires you up day to day? What are you guys passionate about? What drives you every single day? Maybe it's your children, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your career, whatever it is that might be. Find out and determine what your why is. Because once you know your why, then you know how to get to everything else in your life that makes you successful. Because that's what your purpose is, right? And that'll help you find your purpose. So that's F. So the second one is O. Create opportunities. Let's talk about create opportunities really quickly. So once I determined what my why was, and once I was already getting up every single morning and being really intentional about my vision statement and talking that over with myself and being really intentional about that, I started putting myself in a mind frame every single morning of success. I started creating opportunities for myself. And at the time it felt very weird because you know what? I was in a dead-end job. I wasn't doing anything towards a business. Even though I had put that on my vision board, I was like, you know what? This sounds really great, but nothing's really happening. So I started listening to people like Jack Canfield in the morning, people like Tim Robbins, people like Reuben West, people like Les Brown, and started getting myself in a mind frame of success. I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Go Rich, and I was like, you know what? This is what I want to see in my life. And slowly but surely, what I started seeing happening was I left that dead-end job. I got the courage to leave that dead-end job and to find a job that allowed me the freedom to be able to start creating my own business, to be an entrepreneur. I started doing those things because I put myself in the mind frame of creating opportunities for myself. So what I would suggest for each and every one of you guys is put yourself in a mind frame of creating opportunities every single morning when you guys wake up, because it makes all the difference in the world. The next thing is C. Let's talk over that really quickly. Collaborate. Collaborate. And the emphasis on good. So many of you guys either have a village or have people that you guys are accustomed to being around on a consistent basis. Family, friends, whatever, what have you. But I can't emphasize enough how important collaboration is. Because with collaboration, you guys are able to cultivate and foster relationships with other individuals that are hopefully on the same mind frame of you guys. However, guess what? If they're not, that same stinking thinking that those people have is going to slowly but surely creep into you. What do I mean by that? I've once heard it said that if you are around 99 broke people, more than likely you're going to be the 100th broke person. However, if you're around 99 wealthy people, more than likely you're going to be the 100th wealthy person, right? Why is that? Because you are who you hang around. So it's important to make sure that the people that you collaborate with on a consistent basis are people that are going to help you step forward and hold you guys accountable, more importantly, and not tell you guys what you want to hear, but tell you guys what you need to hear. And also you guys are able to thought partner with them, so that way you guys all are successful. Your entire team is successful. For my own life, I started seeing the relationships that I had grow stronger and stronger, and I was cultivating those on a consistent basis. I made sure that that my children were around people that wanted to see them grow and foster and do well and be successful in their lives. And so because of that, my circle completely changed in a matter of several months. And now I'm blessed to say that I have an entire village around me of individuals that want to see us successful. And because of that, we've been able to push each other and be successful in our lives. So I can't stress enough how collaboration, more importantly, good collaboration, can be to you manifesting your own success. So the next thing is this. We'll talk over this really quickly. Understand that there will be setbacks. Again, understand that there will be setbacks. So for myself, my setback, or my first major setback for me, was this. I will never forget it. 2012, and I talk about this in my book, Manifest Your Success. I will actually show you guys a copy of it later. 2012, in August, I drove into my driveway, and my fiance at the time had a U-Haul truck there and was leaving. Now, mind you, that wouldn't seem like much to some people. However, at the time, I was 7 months pregnant and already had 3 small children at home. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? All my hopes, my dreams, my goals were hinged on everything that person had going on in their lives. Because I had not been intentional about setting myself apart and making sure that I had my own things going on, right? And so whatever that setback is in your life, whether it be a death in the family, whether it be loss of a spouse, whether it be loss of a job, whatever it is, or maybe it's even like just depression, or sometimes you getting in your own way, make sure that you guys show yourself grace. Grace to yourself is so important, and recognizing that with all of those setbacks, they happen for a reason. Frederick Douglass said, without adversity, there can be no progress. Again, Frederick Douglass said, without adversity, there can be no progress. And I remember hearing that quote when I was a very small child, and it still resonates with me after so many years now, and I use it quite often when I'm speaking. And what that means to me is this. All those things that are setbacks in your life that happen, that that adversity helps you guys to grow. That helps you get to progress. So no matter how big or small that setback is, be grateful for it. Because you know what? Guess what happens at the end of the day? Even if you might have gone 2 steps back, you're going to propel much further in this life. Because you guys are meant to be successful if you put forth the effort. So the next and last thing on focus is this. Create SMART goals. So some of you guys might be familiar with SMART goals. And if so, that's great. This will be just merely just, an overview for you guys, right? But SMART goals are this. Let's go over them really quickly. A SMART goal is specific. It's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's time sensitive. And we'll go over those. So a SMART goal, say maybe your goal is that you guys want to save more money. So although that sounds really good, it's not very specific, is it? So instead of saying I want to save more money, maybe you'll say I want to save $10,000, and maybe that's your goal. So that's more specific. And then just apply that to your situation, whatever it might be. But we'll keep going with the $10,000 one. So with measurable, you have to make sure that you're making measurable steps towards that. So maybe with that measurable $10,000 goal, you say, okay, well, I'm going to check in on myself and make sure I am holding myself accountable by checking in maybe quarterly or maybe monthly or whatever it is to make sure that that goal is actually measurable. Okay? So with A, which is attainable, you say, okay, is that goal actually attainable? So with a 10,000 goal, what you would say is this. All right, say maybe you give yourself a 1 month time period to get that $10,000 saved in. Well, that would be attainable if you make over $10,000 a month. However, if you don't make over $10,000 a month, then how is that really going to be feasible? Unless you have things and steps in place for you to be able to make over that $10,000, right? So maybe setting yourself up for success by saying, okay, well, I'm going to give myself a certain time period to actually get to that $10,000 goal. So that way you don't actually kick yourself in the foot and say, okay, well, I can't actually get to that $10,000 goal in a short time period or whatever it is that might be. So the R stands for this, relevant. So make sure that it's relevant for your life. Say maybe the $10,000 goal isn't relevant for your life because maybe your situation isn't that you want to save more money. Maybe it's that you want to attain a degree. Maybe it's you want to foster healthier relationships with your family and friends. Maybe it's some other goal that you guys might want to see. So make sure that it's specifically relevant for you. And T stands for time sensitive. So going back to that $10,000 goal, make sure that you guys make it time sensitive. Say whether it be a year, maybe it be 5 years or 10 years or however long you deem necessary to make that goal in and make sure that you hold yourself accountable to that. Because if you don't, then what ends up happening is that goal just becomes a rolling goal. Because the whole premise of goals is this, is to make sure that you are able to get to your goal. And then once you get to that goal, then you're able to surpass it and then you make another goal. So maybe the next time that next goal is $25,000 you guys want to attain or whatever it is, right? So let's go over that really quickly. In order for you to manifest your own success in your lives, you have to do several different things. The first one is this, on focus. So we'll go over it really quickly. Figure out your why. Determine what your why is. Whether it be your children, your spouse, your career, whether it be yourself, a healthier lifestyle, or whatever it is. Figure out your why. O stands for create opportunities for yourself. Wake up every single morning knowing that you guys are going to be successful and create those opportunities by feeding your brain things that you guys know are going to help create that success and cultivate that success. The third thing is collaborate. And the emphasis on good collaboration, right? So make sure that you guys have your village of individuals that you know want to see you guys grow, want to see you guys be successful, want to see you win. Because if they don't, even if it's subconsciously, then they're going to create situations where you don't win. So make sure you have a good team around you. The next thing is you. Understand that there will be setbacks. Setbacks only will propel you to the next level. Just like I said before, Frederick Douglass said, without adversity, there can be no progress. And that is so very true, okay? So show yourself grace, understand that's a learning lesson, and keep moving to that next goal because you will be successful. And then S, create SMART goals. And we just talked about those. Make sure that your goal is specific, make sure it's measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. With all of those goals and all of those things, when you focus in, you guys will see manifestation of success in your guys' lives. I never thought 3 or 4 years ago that I would see myself be an entrepreneur, that I would see myself be a life and business coach, that I would see my kids flourishing in many different ways, that I would be an author. I'll show you guys really quickly. Never thought that I would have a book out called Manifest Your Success. You guys can find it on my website, yasmarirodriguez.com, or even on Amazon. I never thought that I would have those things happen in my life. However, here I am sitting here as an example of when you put forth the effort, when you do the right things, when you collaborate, when you figure out your why, when you deal with the adversity and understand that's just a setback, it's not a failure. When you create SMART goals, you will see success manifested in your lives. So with that being said, I'm so appreciative of you guys all being with me here this day on the BlackCEO London event. I'm looking forward to reaching out to every single one of you guys, and more importantly, have you guys reach out and contact me. Again, you can find me on my Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages at Yasmari Speaks, or my YouTube page, which is Yasmari Rodriguez, or yasmarirodriguez.com. And also, make sure you guys look out for my book, Manifest Your Success. We will be talking to you guys all soon. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon and hearing your own success stories. Take care and be blessed and be well. Bye.